Okay, hi, welcome back to the archives. So, I am going to do another book share. Why does he do that? Uh, Inside the Minds of Angry and Controlling Men by Lundy Bancroft. So, the last one I did was on their mentality. This will be the final video I do for the day because I've been talking for like an hour. So, this video, we're going to talk about the different types of abusive men. This is chapter 4. So, chapter 4 goes into like some of the archetypes of abusive men, right? Um, they tend to have a lot of the same qualities. And so, basically, the first archetype he talks about is a demand man. This is a man that's like always demands everything. They give little, but they take. These are the takers. These are the parasites, right? They just take, take, take. Um, They demand your emotional support. They ask for favors. They want sexual attention. They exaggerate how much they contribute and they undervalue how much you give, right? And so basically, the central attitudes driving the demand man, it's your job to do things for me, including taking care of my responsibilities, even if I drop the ball on them. And when I drop the ball, it's your fault, right? If I'm unhappy about any aspect of my life, it's your fault. Everything is your fault. You should just, your life needs to revolve around them, right? You need to make them your everything. You should not place demands on them at all. You should be grateful that they even chose you, right? You're lucky to have them in your lives. They are above criticism. You can't criticize them, and I'm very that they believe that they are very loving and giving partner, and so you are lucky. You should be lucky to have them. Then there's Mr. Right. This guy's never wrong, right? He speaks in absolute certainty. He'll brush your opinions aside. He thinks you're like incompetent, right? What do you know? Small gal like you. They usually over exaggerate like your stupidity. And so you should be in awe of their intelligence. You should look up to them intellectually. They know better than you do what's good for you. This one I can see myself in this, Mr. Right, like Mrs. Little Miss Know It All, right? So this is what I'm saying. As I'm going through, I'm like, ugh, ick, ick. Oh, but could also be me, right? So I don't know if other people who read this book are able to like critically self analyze and be like, oh, I'm the female version of this. Basically, with them, your opinions are worthless. They don't really care to listen to you. They don't take you seriously. They don't ever take you seriously. Like, you don't know what you're talking about. Uh, the fact that you disagree with them sometimes shows that you just don't have respect for them. It just shows how sloppy you are. If you would just accept that I know what's right. This is also like very Virgo energy as well too, right? Um, your own life would be so much better. Again, very Aquarius as well. If you just, we're never wrong. If you just listen to us, your life wouldn't be that way. And so when you disagree with me about something, no matter how respectfully, it's a sign of disrespect. You're disrespecting me because you disagree with me, right? Um, if I put you down long enough, someday you'll see. Then there's a water torturer. Oof. Um, the water torturer styles prove that anger doesn't cause abuse, right? Because he's very calm, he doesn't yell, very demure, he'll use sarcasm, he's very low volume. Um, like Mr. Right, he tends to take things that she says and twist them beyond recognition. So he twists everything on you. You didn't say it, but now he says you said it. He's just very smooth, right? Very silent. This is a psychological warfare, right? He uses psychological effects. This is why it's called the water torturer. Water torture things when somebody shoves your head in a toilet or in water, right? Very slow death by a thousand cuts is what I would say, right? What's that Lauryn Hill song? I can't think right now. Lauryn Hill is coming to Ottawa, actually. I'm going off topic. What is that song? I can't think of it. My mind is. But yeah, so basically, you may experience intense periods of delayed rage because you don't even realize what's happening. Like he just is like, wait, wow, did he? I was abused. Oh my God, I did not even. He was just so calm, right? You can't get like you can now. You're wilding out. Everybody thinks you're the crazy one. Everybody's like, oh, this girl just blows up for nothing. Look how calm he is, right? They don't know what you're talking about. And so basically, the you are crazy. Everything is you are crazy. You're the crazy one. You fly off the handle over nothing. He believes that he can convince other people that you're the one who messed up. Everything is your fault, like Mr. Right. But again, he's so calm about it. He didn't yell. He didn't touch you. None of that. It's all psychological. As long as I'm calm, I can call anything I you do abusive. You can't ever call me abusive, right? No matter how cruel I am, it's not abuse. I didn't yell at you though. I know exactly how to get under your skin. Then there's a drill sergeant who's like the opposite, right? The drill sergeant is like as the name says itself, right? They just are like extreme. They run. He's just controlling. He's fanatically jealous. He wants her to have no one but him. He ruins her relationships. These are the ones that isolate you. These are the ones that monitor you. They're the monitoring spirits. These are stalkers. They just will make sure that your movements are just watched very closely. These are the ones that they'll check the odometer to make sure that you actually went from home to the grocery store and back. The drill sergeant, right? I need to control your every move or you will do wrong. I know the exact way that everything should be done. You shouldn't have anyone else but me. Nothing else. Just you don't need anything besides me. I'm going to watch you like a hawk to keep you from developing strength or independence. I love you more than anyone else in the world, yet you disgust me, right? These are like, you'll never find anyone better than me. Then there's Mr. Sensitive. These are the ones I'm afraid of now. These are the ones that I'm just like, all of you guys are Mr. Sensitive. That's kind of, he's also kind of like the water torturer. Mr. Sensitive appears to be the diametric opposite of the drill sergeant, right? He's soft spoken, he's gentle, he's supportive when he isn't being abusive. He loves a language of feelings and openly sharing his insecurities, his fears, and his emotional injuries. He hugs other men. He's in touch with his emotions. He goes to men's groups and he goes on retreats, men's retreats. He reads self help books. He speaks the language of popular psychology and introspection, right? He has jargon like, oh, we're developing closeness, and he presents himself to women as an ally. He's a feminist, right? He's got feminist on his tatted. He's an ally. He believes in equality. You might find a cross dangling from his ear. He might have a nose ring. He's really in touch with his feminine side. I was thinking, I just have finally got Netflix for this month, and I just watched The Love is Blind, the new season, so I'm late. But this one reminded me a little bit of Eddie, right? The black guy, super sweet, always crying, um, right? Just, I'm such a nice guy, that's his problem. He's not my problems, I'm such a nice guy. Mr. Sensitive, right? You seem to be hurting his feelings all the time, though you aren't sure why. He expects your attention to be focused endlessly on his emotional injuries. If you're in a bad mood one day, you're being unfair and insensitive. When your feelings are hurt, on the other hand, he insists on brushing over it quickly. But when it's his feelings, he wants to spend all the time on his feelings. Uh, when when the passing of time, he increasingly casts the blame on you for everything. He is dissatisfied. He starts to exhibit a mean side that no one else ever sees, right? You're just like everybody's like he's such a sweet guy. He's a really good guy. Like you have a modern progressive man. What are you complaining about? Girl, shut up, right? Now you're spoiled. You're entitled, right? You got a good man, and you're just complaining because, right? So, uh, he's not like it can turn physical, but for him, it's more of like the uh, I'm against the macho man, right? I could never be abusive. As long as I use a lot of psychobabble, no one is going to believe that I'm mistreating you. I can control you by analyzing how your mind and emotions work, what your issues are from your childhood. I can get inside your head whether you want me to or not. Nothing in the world is more important than my feelings. Women should be grateful for me for not being like other men, right? I and then this one guy says like I've only put my hand on my partner once in my life, many years ago. I just barely pushed her away like this. And so he cries after all. How could he be abusive, right? He's a gentleman. But at the same time he's highly self-centered and he's demanding of emotional catering. Again, this one is one that I think a lot of women can run into, right? Where our emotions are could be used to manipulate. And that's what in the reunion you heard KB say that like I felt like you were using your emotions to manipulate me. I.e., Ayura, Ayura. So then there's a player, right? This one's self-explanatory. I'm not gonna get into it. You know the player. He thinks that he was put on Earth to be a sex symbol, even if he's not really attractive. He thinks he is. Women who want sex or lose. Women who refuse sex are too uptight. It's my own women. It's my fault. Women are so irresistible to them, right? He's women who want the non-sexual aspects of themselves are bitches. You're there to meet their sexual needs, right? So you know the player. Then there's Rambo. This is a aggressive one. He's aggressive with everybody, not just his partner. This is the one who's fighting everybody up and down the streets. This is usually like the gangster, right? Rambo. He loves intimidating people. This is the guy who usually has a criminal record. Again, these are stereotypes, but this style of abuser can be more appealing to women who are coming from abusive relationships or women who have been abused as children, and so they think that he's the protector, right? You want the bad guy, right? The bad man, because he can protect you. So that's Rambo. Strength and aggression are good. Anything weak is too feminine, right? It's augmenting them. All these new boys are so weak, and they're all right. Anything too soft is too gay for them. They're really homophobic usually. Anything that is remotely associated with homosexuality, including walking away from possible violence, has to be avoided at any cost. Femaleness, femininity, which he associates with homosexuality, is inferior. Women are here to serve me and be protected by them. Men should never hit women because it is unmanly to do so. However, exceptions to those rules can be made for my own partner if her behavior is bad enough, right? Men need to keep their women in line, right? You are a thing that belongs to me. You are a trophy. So that's Rambo. Then there's a victim. Victims are also really scary. So life has been really unfair to them. He tells everybody, right? He's really intelligent. He's been chronically underestimated. This is another one I could see myself in. This one I could see myself in, right? Woe is me. Everybody's betrayed me. People have done me so dirty. This is also Eddie. If you listen carefully, you can hear the difference between anger towards an ex-partner, which would be worrisome in and itself, but disrespect or contempt, right? Their exes have always done them dirty. Everybody from the past has done them dirty. And so he says, if he speaks in degrading or superior ways about his ex, or makes everything that went wrong in the relationship her fault, be careful because it's likely that he might be abusive. Try to get him to talk more about his own conduct in the relationship, especially around the breakup time. If he blames his own behavior on her, that's a bad sign. Well, she made me do this. Be particularly careful when a man claims to have been a victim of physical violence from a previous partner. The great majority of men who make such claims are physical abusers. Ask him for as much details as you can about the violent incident. So if he says like, yeah, she put her hands on me and she was the one that was abusive, chances are he was also physically abusive. Pay attention to how he talks and thinks about abused women. A genuine male victim, because there are men who are victimized, right? A genuine male victim tends to feel sympathy for abused women and support their cause. The victim, on the other hand, often says that women exaggerate or fabricate their claims of abuse or insists that men are abused just as much as women are. So that's a red flag. And you see that often online, right? Or she's lying. Meg Thee Stallion didn't get shot. Tory Lanez didn't shoot her. She shot herself, right? Like that kind of a thing. Red pill. So you just can't tolerate my standing up to your bullying right now. They are the victims. You are bullying them. This reoccurring inversion of reality is similar with what happens with Mr. Sensitive, but without the introspective psychology, gentleman, or recovering alcoholic routine. And so they tend to want to give you a taste of your own medicine, right? That's a big one. I'm giving you a taste of you hurt me so bad, I'm hurting you now. The guy who ripped up his wife's or girlfriend's paper, he was a victim. She took my 2-year-old or my son and left me for the weekend. I was a victim. That's why I did it. You will get labeled as abusive, right? Then you feel guilty wanting to leave him because everybody's treated him so bad. Nobody stayed. You want to be the one to be the difference, right? You want to be there for him. And so, yeah, everybody has done them wrong, especially women who they've been involved in. Poor me. When you accuse me of being abusive, you are joining prey to people who have been cruel and unfair to me. This proves that you're just like the rest. It's justifiable for me to do whatever I feel you are doing to me, even if it makes quite a even if I'm worse than what you did. Women who complain of mistreatment by men, such as relationship abuse or sexual harassment, are anti-male. That's a big one. It's just this feminist, right? Western feminism has corrupted you. You're just out for blood. I can't even stay in the elevator with a woman because now she's gonna accuse me of sexual harassment. I think it was Jason Derulo. Somebody was like, "I'll never work with a woman again because they're all liars and they're out for blood," right? The victim. I've had it so hard. I'm not responsible for my actions. Then there's a terrorist. Self-explanatory, right? This is highly controlling, highly demanding. You have the right to, you can't leave me. Your life is in my hands. These are the ones who will like make threats. They have bizarre behavior. One man cut out a newspaper article of a woman who had been murdered by her husband. He stuck it on the fridge. Another one responded to his partner's announcement that she was leaving him by spilling the blood of an animal in front of her house. Another one took out a gun when he's angry at his partner, but he'll insist he's just taking it out to clean it. So they use that intimidation tactic of like, I'm gonna kill you. You better be careful. You have 6 months left, right? Terrorists often seem to be sadistic. They enjoy causing pain. They enjoy instilling fear. They seem cruel for fun. It's just like a sport. They love to see you suffer. It's demonic. And so it's really hard for a lot of these women to get out, right? Because they fear it. These are the ones who will, once you announce leaving, this is when the abuse gets worse. This is when you're more likely to be killed. And so, yeah, women are evil. They have to be kept terrorized to prevent the evil from coming forward. I would rather die than accept your right to independence. I own you. You are my property. Children are their best tools they'll use against you. Seeing you as terrified excites them. They love to see you quivering. Then there's a mentally ill or addicted abuser. This one I thought is a little bit more complex, but basically this is the one who has mental illness, right? Um, or has substance abuse or antisocial. I was thinking of often like I heard sometimes when I hear Kim Kardashian talk about Kanye, for instance, right? It always goes back to like, oh, his bipolar. It's because he has bipolar. It's because, right, other rappers, it's because they're on lean or they do cocaine, right? So it just becomes, it's always like that's their personality, right? Their addiction becomes their personality, their identity. Their mental illness becomes their identity. And so I'm not responsible for my actions because of my psychological or substance problems. If you challenge me about my abusiveness, you are being mean to me, right? I'm autistic. Don't you know I'm autistic? I'm on the spectrum. Why are you being so mean to me? It's my autism. Considering these other problems I have, right? I have ADHD. Why are you being so mean to me? It also shows that you don't understand my problems, right? You are sanist. You are problematic. Can't you see I'm neurodivergent? I'm not abusive. I'm just alcoholic, drug addicted, manic depressive. If you challenge me, it'll trigger my addiction and my mental illness. So now it's your fault that I'm in this spiral, right? You shouldn't talk about me because now you're making me feel so stigmatized. And so these are some of the different archetypes that Lundy shares about the types of abusive men. And so it's important to note that obviously these are stereotypes, right? But a lot of people love to perpetuate stereotypes. Many men are a mixture of all of these, right? An abuser may change from one to the other, so he might be Mr. Sensitive, and also maybe he has ADHD and autism, so then he will use the last one. Maybe he's a drill sergeant on some days, and another days he's the terrorist, right? And so basically, um, an abuser of any type can have days when he turns loving, attentive, and is thoughtful. At these times, you may feel that his problem has finally gone away, that the relationship returned to its rosy beginning. However, abuse always comes back eventually, unless the abuser has dealt with his abusiveness. And so, those are some of the different types of abusive men, right? And then chapter 5 goes into like how it begins and like how to look for early signs, right? Things like to look for the red flags, to look for. This one was really hard because basically it's just all of it, right? It's not his goal to abuse is not his goal. Control is, and so he will use abuse to control. Um, yeah, I'm gonna end it there, but maybe I'll be back to talk about chapter 5 later as I continue reading. Um, Maybe I'll do one more on chapter 5 for the day because I'm on chapter 6 right now. So, yeah, these are the types of abusive men. Have you encountered any of these types of abusive men? Have you dated somebody who has multiple versions? Do you, as a femme or non-binary individual, do you see yourself in some of these characteristics? Because again, women can engage in these, especially if you're a boss, right? If you're a supervisor, I think that's when a lot of women slip into being abusers. If you're a parent, wherever there's um, a dynamic where you are in a position of power, I think it's easy for women to slip into some of these kind of dynamics, right? So, are you able to see yourself in any of these? Have you been abusive in the past? Have people accused you of being abusive as a woman? Have they weaponized it? Like, is this making sense to you? Is he reaching? Are you a man that sees any of these patterns in yourself? And if so, what have you done about it? Have you sought help? Right? Because a lot of these men, again, they don't change, right? Anybody with a position of power is not going to change that power because they enjoy having that power. So, anyways, this is all for now on why does he do that inside the minds of angry and controlling men. Okay, so until next time, in solidarity.